Good morning, everyone. It was a wonderful week last week with my husband, but yeah, there was quite a bit that went on. And some of those things that happened, yeah, they weren't the best things to happen. And if you notice behind me, you see that water bottle? Yeah, we are reduced to using water from a bottle. Anyways, I hope you want to stick around for a little bit of my day. Yeah, I'm already tongue-tied. And yeah, I'll explain in just a little while. And I brought you outside so that you could see what we did. Well, because I didn't like the way it looked. Anyways, you see that rock behind me? That is where our well is. Yes, we had to replace the foot valve in our well. So we had to have a plumber come out and do that because Rick doesn't have the tools for those type of things. And to be truthful, we didn't even know what was wrong. We just knew that we didn't have any water once again. So anyways, he had to cut down the well cover. Ours is a dug well, and I'll show you underneath this rock here. That is our well. This black corrugated pipe used to stand up probably about 2 feet, and I never did like it, but I thought that that's how we had to live with it. But anyways, he had to cut this down so he could get to the thing that whatever he had to unscrew and lift the whole thing up, and yeah. So after he cut it down and he fixed it and he put the cap back on it, I told my husband, I thought that I'm a little concerned about that because now it's really low to the ground, and I'm afraid that, you know, my grandkids will step on it purposefully and play and hop off of it and things like that. So we decided to get a fake rock, and I thought it looked pretty real. But anyways, that's one of the things that happened, and so since he had to replace that, it stirred up all the muck and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it was almost as dark as coffee. I'm not kidding you. The water was like horribly filthy, and just within a couple hours it started to clear up. But it's still, even though it's been 4 days, it's cloudy still. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to shock it tonight to see if that doesn't clear it up. And the plumber said he can come out and he can move whatever is down there, and sometimes that can help. But he said actually everything just has to settle on down. But anyways, yeah, that was not really fun to go through. And it hits the pocketbook a little bit too. And I'll talk to all of you in just a little while as I tell you about another thing that we did last week. One of the things I wanted to tell you about today is somewhere that we went. And I have been wanting to go to a certain store for quite a while now, and yes, we decided that we would take a little trip down to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and go to IKEA. Yeah, I know it's backwards, but this is the bag that we bought. We have never been in IKEA, didn't know much about it except the things that they sold. Well, the type of things that they sold. And so you have to buy your own bags or bring your own bags. And so yeah, it was only $1.50, and it's a huge bag, and it's a nice heavy, almost like a tarp type of bag. And so it'll work really good for me when I go to Aldi's or to Sam's Club. So yeah, I figured $1.50 was probably a good price for it. Anyways, let me show you a couple of the things that I got. One of the things that I got was this little strainer. Oh, it's not that little, is it? It's kind of nice. But I had, you know, they don't last forever, and I haven't had one of these in years. I've just been using the type that you sit on the cupboard or in your sink to strain. I don't even know how much this costs, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be on the tag here, and it is not. So hold on, and I'll see if the receipt is in my purse. And yes, I found my receipt. This was $2.99. And it's stainless steel, so that's good, I think. I don't really know. I just knew that I needed one. So it was there, I was there, and I picked it up. The other thing that I got, and yeah, I wasn't really planning on buying anything, but I was really thrilled to find these 3 little trees. I had been looking for a specific Christmas decoration that I had wanted to make like 2 years ago, and I could not find, I believe they call these like fuller brush decorations, because they're kind of like a scrub brush type of thing. So there's 3 different size trees, and I just thought that this was perfect because now I can do that little decoration. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm always bumping my camera. I don't know. I really need to be more careful. And those were also, I'm sorry, those were $3.99. I'm wrong. They were $2.99. This was $3.99. And this is a little lantern. There's only one reason I got this. And that is because it takes a little tea light. And I said to my husband, you know what? If I would have had one of these, I wouldn't have burned a hole in our cupboard. So I went ahead and I got one of these. I just thought it was really, really cute. And I don't know if you can see, but there's like these little starbursts on the glass. So yeah, got one of those. And then the only other things that we ended up getting is some candles. This is supposed to be a vanilla ice cream. And this one here is raspberry. And then the third one that I got was apple. And it really smells just like Macintosh. To me, Macintosh has a distinct smell. And that's what it reminds me of, is Macintosh apples. And so that's the only thing I got. I did not spend a whole bunch of money at all there. The candles were $1.99, and I've already lost the receipt, so go figure, right? Anyways, that's what we did. And the other days that we were home, we spent cleaning up the gardens, and we still didn't get them all done. But yeah, I had one section in my front garden that I had planted lemon balm. Mistake. Because of all the rain that we had, the temperatures must have been ideal for lemon balm because it was everywhere. I mean, we had to weed the lemon balm because it was growing in between everything. It was horrible. So anyways, I thought, no, I'm going to get rid of all the lemon balm. And we couldn't get rid of it all. That's how bad it was. So next year I'll be doing more weeding because there was it just really took off. I don't even know how to explain it any other way, but it was awful. So yeah, that was kind of our week. We had a nice week actually because we just spent the whole week together. And I have some pictures of IKEA that I thought maybe you would enjoy seeing because it is a unique store. So yeah, I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. For today's devotion, we will be reading from Psalm 86, verse 15. But you, O Lord, are a God full of compassion and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in mercy and truth. The word long-suffering means so much more than just patience. It encompasses endurance, steadfastness, and forbearance. And long-suffering is an attribute of God. When David wrote this psalm, he was going through a difficult time. And when difficulties come into our life, we must remember two very important things. First, remember the character of God. And today's verse describes the character of God, that he's loving and he's gracious, extremely patient, full of mercy, and trustworthy. The character of God is the bedrock of the Christian faith. Second, remember the power of prayer. David did not pray in generalities. He asked God for 4 specific things in his time of trouble. He asked for God's presence, God's mercy, God's strength, and God's deliverance. Who could ever need more than that? No matter what kind of troubles we may face, God is always sufficient to meet our need. I encourage you to read the entirety of Psalm 86, because here you will find a man who puts his faith in God while desperately crying out to him. All in all, this psalm breaks down to about 15 requests. In verses 1 to 7, you'll read how David cries out in great need for God to hear and to act on his behalf. In verses 8 through 10, David gives him praise and declares God as the only true God, the Lord of the nations. In verses 11 to 13, David asks for God to teach him, that he may walk in his truth and unite his heart to fear God so that he can glorify him forever. And lastly, in verses 14 to 17, David appeals to God's mercy and grace to deliver him. This psalm reveals a prayer that is open and honest, bold, and to the point. And that is the greatest point that I want to make in this devotion today. That prayer does not have to be some polite and simple conversation with God. Real prayer is calling on God to be all that he is in every situation in your life. Never be afraid to look at him and ask. You see, the ultimate lesson and the bigger picture that encompasses this psalm is our great needs should drive us to pray to God, who alone can deliver us. God is the only one who has control over the world that we live in, and no matter how hard we wish, the Lord is the only one who can really provide us with the strength and hope we need. God is the key to everything. And to help bring clarity, the word long-suffering is speaking of a quality of self-restraint in the face of provocation, which does not promptly punish. It is the opposite of anger and is closely associated with mercy. Long-suffering is an attribute of God's, and only God can be completely long-suffering. And yet, we're told that long-suffering is a fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22. You see, long-suffering emphasizes the attitude or the frame of mind we are to have during difficult times. It's only through the power of the Holy Spirit that we are able to develop long-suffering. Long-suffering that no circumstances can destroy, and the patience that no person can defeat. And with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And Psalm 86 is a prayer in which David gives glory to God. He praises him in humble, reverent adoration. Throughout everything he is going through, he never takes away from God's greatness or God's infinite goodness. God bless, and I'll talk to you again in just a couple of days. I hope that you will leave a comment, give a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like, and I will talk to you,